Call this meeting, Wichita County Commission to order. Everyone, please rise. You always join me in the invocation, please. Father God, we come to you today knowing how blessed we are in this land and this nation, and we are as a people, and yet often, Lord, we live in such confusion and mixed emotions about things. If we just keep one thing in mind, you are in charge, dear God. Forgive us when we fail to remember that. Guide us in our pursuits. Watch over these bodies as they deliberate and work for the people. Keep an eye on our men and women in public service. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
If I could ask the court to take action on the consent agenda, please.
Judge, I'd make a motion that we accept the lengthy consent agenda as posted.
Second.
I had a couple of questions on this. Commissioner Watson, I should have hollered at you over the weekend. How are we doing on the second floor project? Is it on time and moving along?
Yes, sir, it is. Coming right along. If you've not been in there lately, I suggest catching the fellows, or when you notice they're there working, and really a lot of change taking place. There is a agenda item coming, and Nancy, I'll tell you so you can follow up with Matt. There was some talk about, we discussed the archway over the door to match the, would it be facade of the hallway? And we discussed that in here, but we really didn't approve formally.
So it's not that $9,000 that's...
Seemed like it was $4,000, Judge.
Okay.
Matt told...
Well, there was a $9,000 we approved that had to do with the raising of the ceiling, and I thought it had some miscellaneous things.
Well, I did too, but Meredith said that we needed to go ahead and approve that. Matt was asking for acceptance, and I told everyone that I would just put it on the agenda and let us discuss it. But it ties the bathroom archway and the doorway archway similar, but everything's on track with that. And I've been very pleased and felt very good about the work Santa Rosa Construction has done.
And it looks as though maybe that granite deal is going to work out. They had some samples down there.
Did y'all know what, he found that at Vernon Courthouse, I think.
Yeah. And it's not a perfect match, but it's much closer.
It's very close.
Yeah.
It was just a piece of leftover. And
They were going to work on it and see if they could get it. And we even talked about maybe not even put some kind of a little bit of a facade on it to make it match better, but it's much closer.
Oh, it is, and I don't guess I understand exactly how those lines are taken out. For example, just like here, there is a line in this corner of this cabinet, but you can't see it. And I don't understand how that works exactly, but they'll buff those
Glued,
together.
sanded, and polished.
Okay.
And I mean, that's how they do, granite countertops and all that. They pull it together with clamps and epoxy it, and then they go through a sanding and polishing process, and it just virtually disappears.
There is a small area, if y'all know, in them double doors down there. It's about a foot wide. Kimberly says that, and Matt says that they corrected that with the new felt on those doors that are down there on that end and gasket. She said it wants to get moisture in there if it rains hard against those doors, but there's just a 1-foot strip across there that the tile, we've taken out of the tile, out of the trough of that door, or threshold, right in front of the threshold. It's been going a long, long time, and they're trying to finish it up so it doesn't have that lip on there, and they think they can just put a finished concrete mortar in it and stamp it or something and make it look.
Are they doing the archway at the exit door as well?
Not at the back exit door, they're not going to do, but just as the front entrance, double doors, they will mark.
Yeah, I don't think we want to, that's an emergency exit only.
Yeah, you don't want.
And are the double doors going into that going to have the glass pane in them?
Well, he's changed that up, Judge. At first, they did not have the glass pane going into it. And then that question was raised, and then they're looking at making those, Lori's back door in her side door, actually, to the county clerk, didn't have that initially, and then Bob put that in there. And so Matt was checking on the inserts for them doors to be cut and put that glass in them. So they're trying to look at that now. I don't know which one is the more expensive door. I couldn't tell you if it's a solid door or if it's a windowed, skinny window door.
It may be better for us to order the door solid and Bob to put it in. Could be cheaper
Could
than
be.
ordering the door that way.
Yeah.
But I realize there's some reasoning they don't want that, but from a number of things, from security, to be able to know what's happening behind there, I'm glad we have moved to this in these offices.
I'm just real proud of the look that it's going to take, and it's going to tie well together, and it'll let us move on from there with a similar look even in that entire floor there. So that'll be nice when that time comes.
It's actually coming together better than I ever dreamed.
Me too,
When they
me
started
too.
there. That was quite a challenge to make things match and fit.
The other question I had, item 16, Commissioner Beecham, is that yours? Am I thinking? 16, motion to pay up to $1,500.
Yes, that is.
Is that because it's a special deal to bring the pig out there, or?
Yes, it will not.
Yeah?
It will not be 15. Am I still-
She's still, yeah. Okay. No, you're not. Is your mute button on? Check the top of it. Look at the very top of the,
Well, the mute's off.
oh. Now you got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Judge, it should not hit the 15. We should be more in the 1,000. I want to make sure I hit plenty there. That's on documents from several departments that are stored out there that we really need to
I just didn't know if we needed, if the cost in that, whether we should look at taking any other documents out there, whether we're paying that cost for one day, no matter how many documents, or
No, it'll be per box.
per box, okay.
Just like it was here.
All right.
Do we want to do that though, Mark? That's a good question. There is, if Lori could maybe look,
I have 64 boxes over in my warehouse I need to get to them.
on the Linderman, Lori, there's some of them old ledgers that are against the far wall opposite of record retention on the third floor,
Second floor.
second floor.
Yeah.
There's some palletized stuff. Could you look at that too and see, and we'll move some of that weight out of there?
Your boxes are at the,
At the election warehouse.
Okay.
We can transport those out there and do them at the same time.
Okay.
Or just have the pig go by
Right, well,
when
that's,
they're
He's
done.
going to charge you, I'd check it out, which way, Nancy has that schedule of what they, yeah.
I know I would have to set something up and they do charge by the box and by the pound or whatever it is.
There are some documents that aren't sensitive that we're just getting rid of by normal means, but a lot of these documents that are out there spread around the
Judge, I might also add, George, that mini split is in here too. We're gonna move forward with that for the server room. We'd looked at that alternative deal and it's not gonna work out, so it's in here so we can move forward with that.
Well, I thought, we referenced that as being like the telephone room, but the split we have on the telephone room, that second AC unit wouldn't keep up with it when we had that problem, right? This weekend?
Correct. We had, in fact, this, from what I understand from speaking to Bob this morning, it's an ongoing issue with the older unit out there. It may need a compressor replaced in it too. It's barely keeping up with it now. If we, to me, the mini split is just in case of emergency, in case the big one goes out.
It's
And that-
backup.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that large one's gonna have to be replaced as well. So we would need the mini split first to try to keep the temp down while we replace the large unit.
Okay, and on item 18, Commissioner Watts, what are those clamps that are $700 a piece?
Judge, that's those, they're called sheet iron clamps. What they do, like we have all that, or had all that I-beam, as well as, I have big plate steel.
Okay, they clamp.
They
when you
clamp
pick
a
up
hold
on
of
the-
it,
Yeah.
and you
all
can-
right. I was picturing some kind of hose clamp, and I thought, are they gold?
Well, what it allows you to do too, you can grab the culverts on each end and clamp them and come straight up without going all the way through a 30-foot culvert with the chain.
Okay. BJD engraving. Last I knew, we're going to approve that bill, but I think they have property tax issues. Does that-
Yeah, it was still,
Oh, okay.
I think you are correct.
All right, that answered my questions. Anyone else have anything on the consent agenda? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. Item number 1 on general business, and review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the bills. Any comments or questions?
I wish there were fewer of them.
No lie. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 2 is discuss and review jail maintenance project and work orders. We got another clean week of no outstanding work orders. And they completed,
It was all 42, looks like.
yeah, 42. So that's not a bad report.
That is one area, Judge, where we made some real progress.
Yes, sir.
And let's carry that right on into that new building and we'll be in good shape.
Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action to authorize the IT department to purchase up to 40 hours of SharePoint training from Parity Consultants at a cost up to $6,000 to be paid from 10412.4852 training conferences and seminars, line determined by the county auditor, Mr. Crutchfield.
Yes, sir, Judge. SharePoint, we've been working on for quite some time. It was new to us. It's fairly new in the industry. And we think we have it ready to roll out, but we'd like these guys who do that for a living to take a look at it, make sure that our configurations are correct, make any changes as needed to it, and also give us some training on it as well.
Is there an hourly rate on that?
It's $150 an hour, Judge, and we think we can get by with 20, but they said 40, but we're going to try to hold them to 20. We just wanted to have that out there in case it goes over, because we, like I say, we're not sure what it's going to entail.
Okay.
And that's where all of our forms and all of that is going to be, George, right?
It will house the intranet that we've been wanting to roll out for quite some time.
Right.
The forms, it'll have a type of instant messaging. It'll be in-house, instant messaging,
All
lot
those
of-
things I keep asking for.
all those things you keep asking for, yes, sir.
Mark, could you use Lee's mic? Your mic
Am I
is-
bringing this deal? Okay.
George, that's something, once we're up, I guess we can do some form of webinar training on after our
Yes, sir. I
training is
would certainly
done.
hope so. Yes, sir. We just have to carve out time to do that for y'all.
And I guess we were able to, on the form wise, go to the website, generate the form, and then store them electronically ourselves internally, right? Okay.
Yes.
Good deal. I'll make the motion.
All right. Commissioner Beecham beat you, your second.
Oh, okay, second.
Thank you.
Sir.
Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Watts to approve up to 40 hours at $150 an hour for the IT department to use for the training for the Parity Consultants. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 5, George has asked me to withdraw that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item number, I'm sorry, that was 4. And item number 5 is discuss, consider, take action on a request for Precinct 4 Commissioner to pass on the road. We can't take action on that. You have to have all the members of the court present to do that. It's funny, you can vote on taxes and the budget, but not.
Do we just want to table it, Judge?
Yes, sir, and what I would like for you to do is, let's talk in on that. I want to be sure we get over the right hurdles the first time, instead of being exposed for 2 years to look at whether somebody all of a sudden would object to that.
Great, and then also, Judge, on that note, Nancy, do you have the language for the illegal dumping agenda item as well? That Meredith had some comments about double checking.
Emails from this morning?
No, it would have been from a week ago. Well, just no problem, but just, I need to put that on there. We have a historic dump site that continues to be an issue and a problem, so.
Well, that book, that guy, you could probably call the guy that wrote that book and taught that class.
Okay.
He's real easy. I had visited with him and got his take on, the idea of having mandatory trash collection in the rural areas, and he said he thought it was somewhere between 4 and 6 counties, and it's been nothing but a constant battle. He said it was, and they just can't seem to get out of it once they got in it. They could, but we might be, so far we're well off in the way it's working for us now. Okay, item number 6, discuss, consider, take action to transfer up to $6,216 as needed from general fund non-departmental other salaries to general fund human services into healthcare temporary services 100.640.1295 to pay for a temporary employee for the period from January 2nd, 2018 through March 4th. This is one of those we missed in the budget that we should have put that in 409 to use during the period until Ms. Gideon retired. We didn't do that. We had the person in place, so we need to correct that funding. That's all that amounts to.
Judge, I would make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Mahler. Any other comments or questions about that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 7 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the county treasurer's reports for December 2017 and authorize county judge and commissioner to sign the affidavit certifying compliance with section 14.026 local government code for December 2017. Mr. Hampton.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, sir.
A couple of you there by act of Congress.
I think you were included in one of those very broad orders too. Thank you.
Nancy, if you The information sheet that you've got on your, from Nancy has to do with the end of December. And hope you've had time to look at it. We are, at this 5 minutes, down from where we were this time last year. About 5%, which is not necessarily a terrible haircut, but the good news is that we're up 15% where we were this time in 2015. So bottom line is, at the end of December, we had 54 million and change for assets that are accounted for over in the auditor's office. Any questions on that little huckleberry?
Now did we have the proceeds from the bonds at that point? Or they dealt with separate of that?
We're dealing completely separate.
Okay.
What you're getting on the bond deal is what I'm fixing to go to now.
All right, that's what I appreciate that.
We're keeping that segregated completely from that year-end amounts. On your color chart, of course, this is the end of January. And, gives you an idea of our financial posture on that. If there's any questions on that, what makes this very unique, and I attached that to you, to your sheet, the Century Management gives us a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly report on the market conditions, and if you'll notice the current agencies, one-year agency is about 1.9. So if you look over there where it says, that column that says coupon, that's what you and I and the county folks that put us in position here are getting, which indicates that in the majority of cases, we're getting a pretty good return on our dollar. And with Willie's guidance, if you look on that very bottom line on page 4, you'll see our monthly income on interest income. It's $62,590 some dollars. So that's gives you an idea of where we are at the end of January. Unemployment, of course, is at a 17-year low, and unemployment insurance is at a 45-year low. What's challenging us, though, is this unemployed persons. At this point in time, and of course, this is just the dynamics of our society right now. There's a real challenge for the Federal Trade Commission or the Federal Reserve paying more to stay home and live off
Those of us that work as compared to the...
as opposed to willing workers is what the quotation is. Willing workers is our challenge. And speaking of the Federal Reserve, we got a new Federal Reserve chairman. This is we'll give you an idea of what this is about. This is a 14-year position appointed by the president. And it's, once you're done with 14 years, there's no rehire. I mean, you're done. Jerome Powell is our new Federal Reserve chairman. He turned 65 Sunday, appointed last Monday, the 5th. So we're starting all fresh, and he comes from an economics background. He also has his law degree. I'm sorry. One of our lawyers didn't say that. So he gives you an idea, in case you ever want to get rid of the county treasurer, the district attorney can start running the, I guess they teach that in law school. but he's has an interesting background. Started with George H.W. Bush as Undersecretary of Treasury. Now he's appointed by President Trump. Janet Yellen, who's the previous chairman, still is on the committee. She did not resign, and she'll be on there for, I understand, another 6 years on the Federal Reserve. So that's where we are. Interesting week. The Dow closed down a little over 2,000 points this past 5 days. Largest correction in the history of the stock market.
From a record high.
From a record
You
high.
gotta remember that.
From a record high, exactly. So it's been
But even at the
economic times are very, very challenging.
even
As far as
at
county goes, people that are listening to this, we're in good shape.
even at the correction, well, the good thing is, I think you're saying, we are not in the stock market, correct?
We are not per se,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
they have government agencies and everything's relative. But everything we have is safe in regards to if Fannies and Freddies go south, well then that won't be something that people are on their mind. Because it'll be worse than that.
Mhm. Well, what you pointed out about our interest over the last 5 to 8 years, that's considerably better. It's not what we had when we were bringing in 2 million a year.
On that sheet I gave you,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it gives you a year ago, the agency, which we're getting 1.9 on right now,
Mhm.
we just bought some paper at 2%. So that's what I wanted to. But a year ago, it was 80 basis points.
Right.
And a year prior to that, 2015, was 50 basis points. So this may not be the most exciting topic to talk about, but it's what I deal in, and I do it daily.
Well, but what you're saying to us, at the rate that's coming in right now, that will be equivalent to 1 cent's worth of tax revenue that is not being paid by the property owners.
Exactly. And in most cases, we're well ahead of the national average.
No, good work. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mr. Hampton?
It also makes me realize that if I had $70 million to invest, I could retire very comfortably, even at today's low rates.
You try to put it in Enron, Commissioner.
Pretty cheap stuff.
You could be right.
Move to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Marr. Any questions on the investment report from Mr. Hampton? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. We're down to public information. Ms. Bohannon.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just a reminder, early voting starts next Tuesday. When early voting starts, that means there is no campaigning in the county courthouse. No T-shirts, no buttons, no pins, no signs, no nothing. Once you hit the awning of the building, into the building. And that's through any entrance because the building is a polling location. But early voting starts Tuesday. We will deliver early voting on Friday. So I will have to get, I don't know Tommy's hours. So I'll have to get with him, I guess, and get a key to be able to turn the heat on and off. I have a key to the doors, but I don't have a key to his area yet. And Jeff has given me keys to his area. So we will set up and be ready to go. Yes? No question?
No questions.
Okay. All right.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah,
Mr. Hampton.
Just to keep you informed, my predecessor passed away this past week, and
Oh, no.
Mike Bruckner, nice guy, and we were friends way before we got involved with the county. He used to be the stockbroker over at Burkmanette with Edward Jones, and I was working out of Smith Barney. So, passed away, he's 75 years old, nice guy, and attended his funeral.
Wow.
Anyone else? Thank you. I just saw his daughter a couple of weeks ago. She works out at Midwestern. Okay. Commissioner Beecham?
Judge, we did receive our preliminary D&D estimates on the LEC project. Sharpening the pencil, it got loud all of a sudden. Sharpening the pencil and getting back to work just so we can present that budget on Thursday. Have a meeting this afternoon with the electrical engineers, civil engineers over WebEx. Try to drill that number down a little bit further. A few items that have creeped up on us on that project, but overall, I think we'll be there by Thursday.
Thank you, sir. What time are you doing that? I may sit in with you.
1:30.
1:30. You doing that in your office or in here or?
Either my office or Harper Perkins.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Mahler?
Just been busy, a lot of things going on. Of course, fundraiser for Brad Wynn this Saturday in Iowa Park, and Jeff, we're at the high school cafeteria,
My school cafeteria.
5 to 7, and Jeff's been working on that, and a lot of other people, and I understand tickets are selling briskly, so that's
Yes,
good.
yes.
We're moving some tickets, and that'll be a great community fundraiser for Brad, and then guess we're cooking for the Iwo Jima survivors at noon that
At
day.
noon that day at the wedding.
So it'll be a good day for the Culinary Academy, but a couple of good events. But we appreciate your support on if you can. Other than that,
Any door prizes for
You
the
bet.
Brad Quinn event
bet.
would be great.
We got room.
Anything. Mhm.
and that'd be great to kind of help out a neighbor over there that needs some help and deserves some help. And it's what communities do. It's what we do. So we're looking forward to it.
She can't hear you.
She can't hear me? Well, I'll lean up here by the
Oh,
mic.
because you don't have it on.
Yeah, it makes noise if you flip it on. So, but anyway.
Just put it on your lip.
You know. Anyway, just getting some road work done and making some things happen, Judge. Hoping for a little better weather, a little warmer weather, where we can get some projects moving forward.
We, and Bob's left, but as soon as anyone has, I'm holding titles for the auction, just waiting on clearance from Bob's office or Deb's office to release those titles. The auction has wound up with very few things left now. Some big items we just haven't got facilitated, but we are well underway with Huntington Lane South. Real pleased with the culvert expansion. It's going to allow to fix a long-time drainage issue on that end of the road and allow water to go to the glorified TxDOT drain that was put in about 10 years ago. So the road has always been formed a dam to keep water from flowing promptly that direction, and we've taken out a small culvert and put in 3 larger cement ones, and that road project is underway today with the milling going on out there, and then we'll start moving material that we have stored over on Halls Road behind the church to that and mill it in a second time and prepare to be ready for the end of March overlay. So that's what Precinct 4 has going.
Okay. if y'all haven't noticed, there's a lot of campaigning that's going on. There'll be a candidate forum that being sponsored by the Wichita County Republican Women, I believe it is, on Thursday night at 7 p.m. in the Dillard College of Business, room 101, which is the large theater-style room that they have in there. And I believe that's going to have only contest, and will it be Republican candidates from the Senate race down, I believe. And then also, next Monday is a holiday. This Wednesday and Thursday for county personnel, there's blood screenings going on at no charge to them. And other bad news, Dr. Yoshi Fukasawa passed away out of Midwestern, longtime professor out there. He had what they thought was a slight heart attack earlier last week or the weekend, and got feeling okay, came back to work, then didn't feel so good on Friday, and unfortunately the results were a fatal event over the weekend. Yeah.
He was the chairman of my committee, my master's degree. Good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah. So, but his widow and his son both live here. Anything else anyone thought of to bring up? We will meet on Wednesday to review and take action on payroll, and otherwise we don't. We have not scheduled Friday's stuff, but we'll get that worked out. And Nancy has gone back through our 2 versions of the personnel books, and she and I'll try to put that together and make it where we combine those. Let's see, 1 + 1 is, we'll come up with a 3rd version. So,
Just a little light read.
but hopefully but you'll have probably both those unless she's managed to mesh those together. Okay. All right. It is.
Judge, I had a
Yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
Judy Malone has got me going through my fixed assets, and I'm giving numbers, unit numbers to the things that are signed, and she wanted to clear off any old auction stuff that had been removed. But there are some things that I don't recognize that maybe y'all can help me with or know. For one, there was a floor machine, fairly expensive floor machine that's listed there, and I just wondered if somebody was using it maybe because...
A sander or?
I took it to be one of those
Buffers?
stripper waxer type machines. And then also one Cat asphalt paving equipment. Does anybody know what that would be in reference to? Seems like it's Caterpillar designed, but
Self-propelled or a drag box, or you have
it
any
doesn't
idea?
say. It has a number associated with it, but it's not a title or document
Yeah.
I'm holding. The lay-down machine, was it a Caterpillar type
I think it was.
machine?
The one that.
Yeah, that little-
Precinct 2.
that little-
I'm talking about the self-propelled one
Yeah.
Well, I
that sold.
listed it as a precinct 5 item,
Well,
but
I
it's,
thought it was. I think it was. It was something we gathered on surplus, I believe, a number of years ago, but I think it was a Caterpillar, for sure it was.
okay.
But I don't know what that one would be, because I don't know if Cat ever made a drag box.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Those are
Those are Layboys or.
Layboys or, I don't think Cat ever made one.
Okay, but you're pretty sure the old machine we sold was a
For
Caterpillar
sure it
unit?
was.
Okay,
For sure it was.
okay. And, but anyway, my reason for saying is it'd be a good idea if everybody would
Go
get their
through.
fixed asset list and go through them and just, we can take a look at what we've got, because some things have, remember we had that auction last year early up where we just added some items to an existing auction, and those units we're probably still carrying because we haven't.
Right.
listed, so.
And I assume our new software will have a provision for a better way to manage that.
Yes,
Yeah, Munis will have a component in it that
Yeah.
allows us to track, and I've already started Leon
Yeah.
gathering photos, all the
Great.
information, the VIN numbers, et cetera, that
I
we
think
can,
that's good.
See, we need to do that on HVAC equipment.
and we can do that with Munis. That's one of the.
You
You know,
one of the
one
things
thing that I
it'll allow
ran
us to
into
do.
and recently, and I had to make a list on, is that my VIN number in some truck units aren't necessarily indicative of what motor is in that truck. And so we've gotten motor serials in line with our VIN numbers so that if I get asked about which exact motor is that, because apparently there's some option that the VIN's not carrying.
So think about this, with Munis, you'll be able to download the entirety of the maintenance manuals and everything there.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Will you scan them or do you?
you'll scan them in, just like
Mark-
anything else.
Mark, how long will it take, Nancy, to scan a manual that's
On
about 3 inches?
on a
thick?
high-speed scanner, the way we're, like in the district clerk's office, a minute,
Cool.
2.
Cool.
Wow,
So,
That's good.
and we
so
won't be out looking for all those.
we won't be searching, and we will be able to track every time it's had an oil change, every time it's had brake work, every time we had a hydraulic hose bust, whatever the case is.
Which is incredible, because right now, we don't have a good way to actually track our real cost of a unit to know whether that's still a viable unit or not. We really don't
We
have.
don't have a clue.
I mean, we can get a general idea, but we don't have the numbers, and that way we'll know. And I think it would be extremely helpful on some of our HVAC stuff.
Yeah.
To know, hey, that unit has cost us 10 grand over
Yeah.
the last.
And
2
with
years.
that Munis, when it goes live, we'll be able to assign each one of these air conditioner units a part number.
But you know, they have these funny old things, it's called a manila folder, and you stick a copy of the receipt in there, and the original purchase does wonders.
It does.
But you gotta do it, either
That's
way.
exactly right. Good point.
The Munis program won't go grab it now. Wait a minute, I say
I
that.
don't know, it might.
But now it may, actually, if you got the unit number on there.
If you have the unit number on there,
It
yeah.
might go get it for you.
Yeah, well, it will get it electronically, that will be an improvement. A thing came up at the, two things, at the Wichita County Rural Volunteer Fire Department. None of the fire chiefs were big on implementing a fire ban, a burn ban. You know, and so I don't see anything happening with that we need to change what we're doing. People are paying attention, and
Well, Judge, in reality, a burn ban is only as good as the people's intention of either obeying it or not obeying it, and I think our people have done very well. And as I've said earlier, we need everybody to put their own burn ban on.
Yeah.
You know, just police it yourself, and we'll be in good shape, because it is still very treacherous out there.
yep.
And on these windy days, you get one going, there's no way to stop it. And we're very fortunate to have the Forest Service standing by. They've got equipment posted now at Abilene and some out west. Where did he say they had some that they can get fairly quick response? And I think we've got some bulldozers in.
We have
county.
2 bulldozers in county who are standing
Yeah.
by.
So that's reassuring to know that backup is there, but still, and I didn't mention it in my comments, and I should, because once again, the main things, which a burn ban is not going to prohibit anyway, is outside welding. You need a spotter, you need water, and if you've got that, you're probably never going to have a problem.
Right.
And a burn ban will require that, but it won't prevent you from going and doing it, which we don't want to ruin anybody's livelihood.
No.
Same scenario, police your safety chains on your trailers. Don't run a trailer down the road with a flat tire, because that'll throw sparks. I mean, just got to be conscious. And the few things that a burn ban won't address is sometimes where you have your challenges anyway. So
Right.
just be cautious and be aware.
The fires out in the west side of the county were not as a result of anybody burning anything.
Right.
They were electrical fires.
Electrical
so.
fires, and we continue to have that. And just everybody needs to remember now, there's a reason to be cautious, because if you're out doing something and you start a fire, you're liable from that. So keep that in mind. You could create a very large liability for yourself.
Yep.
And it's very important to remember.
One other thing came up at that meeting was that Chief Lynn told everybody that the county was going to furnish all the fire departments their tires if they ruin any, but he did correct that
Yeah.
with adding that were available out of a government surplus program, which Mr. Watts I think you were helping on that. Is that the 1033 program?
1033, Lee's working with that, that's where that came
Okay,
from.
one of the things we need to be sure is that is generally geared for law enforcement, that there is a provision for that to be used for the fire departments.
Because they do audit.
And the other thing was, that kind of caught our emergency management guy who flat-footed, no one had mentioned that to him, which would have been a good thing, just so we keep track of those people we have to watch those kind of things for us. Commissioner Watts we're working on the fill removal out there on that property off of 367.
Yes, Judge, and just an update on that, I was telling Commissioner Muller this morning that the landowner now is not taking my calls or texts. We have prepared documents in order to allow the mediation to take place for both TxDOT and the county to assist, but I've been unable to help him down, and Sheriff Duke is helping me with that now. So
Okay. Speaking of Sheriff Duke, came in the courthouse yesterday when I came in through the back entrance. I had to weave my way through pound after pound after pound in plastic bags of the 500-plus pound marijuana bust. They were in there going through and registering all of that and as evidence, and they'd already registered 2 additional guests into the jail for that. And that was just a normal, routine traffic deal. Somebody speeding, and maybe they were doing a little product testing time too, I don't know. At any rate, I told them, I said, great work. I visited with them about it, but I said, you know, guys, I really wish they had been hauling 500 pounds of cash back from
We're catching them the wrong way.
Yeah.
We need that turned into cash.
Yeah, I did have some play in my mind on your thought, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
Let's load it.
maybe we could work out a deal with the cartel that had that for $1 million, we'll give it back to them and they can take it.
You're dealing with the devil now, Judge.
Yes,
so
sir,
not
I
good.
realize
Yeah.
that, so.
Not
All
good.
right, anything else? Okay, it is 10:50 and we're adjourned.
All right.